Hey guys, this is Doc D's with Fist of the Empire, back for another Crowfall video. Today we're going to cover some of the crafting basics. So we'll begin by opening up the menu, maybe, and you click this top icon here and it'll bring up your personal crafting. This is the most basic of the crafting menus. So this is the area where you can craft your basic harvesting tools that you're going to initially use within the beachhead. You can craft your basic armor, your basic weapons, and all of these just require items that you can get within the beachhead. Your basic ore, your basic stone, basic wood. You can also craft your crafting stations that you'll use for your Eternal Kingdom, which is basically your world outside of the campaign world. And it is persistent. So you can craft these stations to put inside of your house, so to speak, where you'll be able to craft more advanced weaponry. If you'll notice up here, this is ethereal dust. And this is an item that is a random drop from basic and non-basic trees, stones, or however, in order to get more of these, you need to have certain skills trained. And if I'm not mistaken, yeah, so this is the plethora of dust from basic resources. If you're just harvesting stuff in your Eternal Kingdom or in the beachhead, you're going to want to have this skill trained in order to get more of an ethereal dust drop from those basic resources. Now when you specialize and you go into, like, let's say ore specialization, each one is going to have another plethora of dust skill that you can train, but that's going to be further down the line. Just wanted to point out that in order to craft those tables, you are going to need to have that dust. And right now the recipe is set for 100. I don't know if it's going to stay that way or if they're going to change it, but that's what it is for now. So within your beachhead, there's this building here, and I believe it's called the throne room. But inside here is a crafting table where you're going to go to make your intermediate weapon. You can still craft all of the basic stuff in here. However, you're going to want your intermediate weapon as soon as possible. And this is made from a basic weapon plus ethereal dust again, and then whatever your particular weapon needs, like metal billets. You can make those components here. However, metal billets and wooden boards are made from non-basic ores and woods, which means you cannot get them inside of the beachhead. You will have to venture out, maybe take a friend, go get some ore, go get some wood, and this is where you can craft that intermediate. For advanced weapons, if you do not have a crafting table in your Eternal Kingdom, which you will not when we start the actual game, you can go to a fort that is just outside of whatever your particular beachhead is. This is the Order one. The Chaos one is down here. Balance is over here. But these little forts are scattered all over the place. There's larger forts on the ends. However, there is a lot of these little ones out to the front of your beachhead that your faction may or may not hold. If you don't hold it, grab some friends, go take it over. Inside of this fort is going to be your advanced crafting tables, and each fort holds all of the crafting tables that are listed in the basic deeds. So all of these are in there. You just need to hold the fort, go in there, and then you can craft your more advanced stuff. And I think what we'll do is we will log out, and I'm going to log into my Eternal Kingdom and show you guys what one of the advanced tables looks like. I don't feel like running out to that fort because my frames are really terrible on the campaign world right now. So once this is done, we will start up, go to Worlds, Kingdoms, My Kingdoms, and start it up. And inside there you can place parcels down, and there'll be another video on all of that stuff. However, I do have like a small little house in there which holds one crafting table at a time, and I can just switch them out as I need them. There are, however, skills that you need to have within your skill tree in order to craft the items in the forts or inside your Eternal Kingdom at one of the crafting tables. And those skill tree. Those skills inside of the crafting, you'll have to have crafting basics, right? So this is rune making. In order to be able to craft any of the runes that are on the rune making table, such as the more advanced harvesting tools and things like that, you have to have at least 1 pip inside of this. The further you train it, like, just the better your crafting skills become and better chance you have of successful crafting. However, you do only need 1 pip in order to have access to the recipes. So what do we have here? This is the rune making table. And you walk up to your table, you hold F, and now you see I have a different menu here for rune making. I can still do all my basic stuff there. However, now I have runes and rune components. So for this particular table, I'm looking at harvesting tools. I'll need a sigil and an unmarked runestone. Come down here to the components and pick whatever sigil I want, such as an axe. And then in order to make that, I need ore and parchment paper, which I happen to have. So we'll put those in there, assemble. Okay, it was successful. And this is the experimentation. This is also, the points you have here are determined by a skill in the skill tree. So if we go back to the skill tree, and after crafting basics, if you go into the rune making skill tree, there are these options here: exceptional rune making experimentation points. That gives me more points to experiment with as I make the items on whatever particular table I'm on. And then this one increases the chance of the experimentation success. And what that means is when I am in here crafting, and let's put these back in, and so I assemble it, it's successful. Now I get to experiment. With this one I can increase the durability. And if you look down here at the risk, if I didn't have any points in that skill tree at all, the risk for success would be upwards of 25%, I think. So I can run it and I get success. The bigger the risk, not necessarily the greater the reward right now, but I think that's something that they're going to look into. But my success is based on my skill here, 32, versus the difficulty of the actual experiment. Okay, great. So we filled them all up. We make our sigil. And after we make our sigil, we're going to have to make the rune stone that we need. So we take that. So that's this guy right here. We now have an axe sigil. It's poor. My rune making skills are not so hot, but it gets the job done for what I need. And I can either make a stone rune stone or a wooden rune stone. I have stones, so we'll go with that. And we just pop those in there, and we get to do another experimentation with it. Let's just do this. Yay, success. Oh, failure. So after we have both of these done, we take those. All right. So now we have the 2 components that I need in order to make a harvesting tool. And just pop those in there. And then we're going to have another opportunity to experiment. So the base stat is +5 for logging because I'm making an axe. This is not a special axe right now. It just has more durability and gives me a +5 to logging. It's not super special. So if I run this experiment, I get some success. There's guys out there making, I don't know, +80 to logging, and that just makes it go so much faster, and you get more drops and all kinds of interesting stuff. So the higher your skill, the better your tools and weapons and all that are going to be. So if you're going to make advanced weaponry, you're going to want to find a blacksmith who has a really high skill. You're going to want to find a leather maker who has a really high skill in order to make some of the components that you need. And I don't think that one person can make the best stuff, because you just don't have the amount of time to put into all of those different skill trees in order to make the best stuff. So you're going to want to find people who can scavenge purple ore, and then you're going to have somebody who can craft with that purple ore with a high enough skill to make something really good. And then you're going to have to find the blacksmith who can put all of that stuff together into a weapon. And it's pretty intricate the way that they did it, and I think it's really good that no one person can be an expert in everything. You just don't have the time. There's so many skill trees and so many different ways to go that I think this is just a really fantastic way for them to do the crafting in this game. You can't be a super badass combatant and also be, a badass harvester and a crafter. You just can't. So let's take a look at the skill tree again. We'll go into crafting. So just like in my skill tree video, you have to have 50% of the crafting basics completed before you can move on to a specialization. But within the crafting tree basics, you're going to want to push down all of these nodes. If you're going to be a crafter, you're going to need at least the basics in this stuff: alchemy, necromancy, stonemasonry, woodworking. There's so many: blacksmithing, leatherwork, jewelry crafting. After that, you can pick your specialization if you want to go. I only went rune making so that I could try out making these tools, right? So you start here, you get four pips completed in your initial one, and then you can move on to the next step, rune making craftsmanship. And each one of these gives you a bonus of some sort, like increase the amount of experimentation points available, right? So we want those because I want to try to make better tools. But I also need the rune making experimentation success as well, because it doesn't matter how many points I have, if it just keeps failing, I'm not going to get shit out of it. And rune making recipes, you can go, each tree has these particular like stonemasonry, come down, and this opens up more recipes. And they're all basically set up the same: experimentation, woodworking, the same thing. And all these trees are set up exactly the same, but you want to pick one to specialize in and then max that one out and then move on to the next one if that's your thing. In order to get the items necessary in order to craft all of this amazing shit that you need, you have to have somebody who specializes in, let's say, excavation, right? So then they can pick a particular way they want to go. We can go ore, we can go stone, we can go necromancy. As far as excavation, we have reaping, which is wood and animals. So you're going to get your leather and your wood from this particular branch here. But if you go into ore specialization, I mean, this is a huge, huge tree. And this stuff is, you're looking at 1 day for each one of these skills if you want to complete them. Or close to it at least. The further you go, the longer it takes. Is that 1 day 4 hours, 1 day 11 hours to get through that? So even if you went straight through, you're looking at like a week just to get this one particular line in ore specialization. So you gotta figure it out who's doing what. So you'll have crafters, you'll have your combatants who can come outside of the beachhead or the forts with your harvesters, who can go get the rare or the legendary stuff that you need in order to make the high level gear that you want to craft or have crafted for you. They do not have markets out yet. The thralls, I believe that's going to come with 5.5 as we're still on 5.4. So I will cover that in a different video when that does come out. However, that is your basic rundown for crafting. If you have any questions, let me know. And this has been Doc D's. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you.